I hope you don't get the sickness.
My boy Kurt is a stay-at-home dad, watching Disney movies he never had. His daughter digs through all the VHS, crushing the classics in a princess dress. Informed like Scuttle, Kurt's got your ticket, making it real like Jiminy Cricket. Most off the Captain Hook, but if the Tweedledum, he'll be taking more shots than Bambi's mom. Leaves him raised like Simba, or cracked like the beast dishes. He'll show you a whole new world, you won't need 3 wishes. Stay-at-home Disney dad.
Squinting at this movie a little bit, I feel like it's gonna be one of those kids movies that has no business being a kids movie. Let's start. Ad for the Lion King CD-ROM game. Muppets Treasure Island movie. Funny the difference of feels I feel between Disney absorbing the Pooh franchise and Disney absorbing the Muppets franchise. More Muppets, please. Less Pooh, please. Oliver and Company ad. The classic story of Oliver with a Disney twist. This is a long ad. Are they pitching me a DVD? Is it a DVD? Nope. Now available on VHS. We're still inside the warm motherly hug of the white clamshells. Ad for Toy Story on VHS. Here we go. Feature presentation. I feel like I'm about to fall down the nightmare tree and hit every branch. James and the Giant Peach, people. We meet James, and this isn't a cartoon. These are real actors. The music sounds like it's from Little Nemo the Dream Master game on Nintendo. James has a wonderful mom and dad, and everything is perfect. I feel like we're about to lose mom and dad. They're not long for this world, are they? I think they have English accents. They're heading to New York. They tell James to make a wish. James wishes for a giant peach. Just kidding, I made that line up. But this is real. We're told that an angry rhinoceros appeared and ate his mom and dad. Now he's living with his horrible aunts who look like vampires and tell him no more lollygagging and it's work, work, work. Music by Randy Newman. There it is. Does this guy have like a residency in Cinderella's Castle in Disney World or something? Why do they keep using Randy Newman? This movie is by Tim Burton. Everything makes sense now. When I was younger, I would get Tim Burton and Marilyn Manson mixed up. Do with that what you will. The mean aunts see him looking at the New York brochure his parents gave him before they died, and they tear it up in front of him, tell him he's a stupid boy and the rhino that ate his parents is coming back for him. Yeah, this is the remorseless tone I was expecting out of this movie. In his room, he befriends a spider because he's so lonely. He starts singing a song, "My name is James, that's what my mother called me." He keeps singing out of tune and coloring pictures. "My name is James" seems to be the main lyric. He actually fashions a cool little hot air balloon out of garbage and sends it out the window. I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to be feeling right now. You know, as a kid, these low-key child abuse scenarios were always kind of scary, but I guess if you were lucky enough to have good parents or good adults who took care of you regardless of relation, these scenarios were easily enough to push down because there's very little chance this could happen to you. Watching these as an adult with kids now who's exposed to the harsh reality of rampant child abuse every day through the news and online social media, scenes like this knock me back a day or two. Regardless, in the morning, Bumbler ants see the spider and try to kill it, and everyone falls down the stairs. Outside, James meets an old man who says he knows about James, and the man has his hot air balloon toy and claims it's now full of hundreds of crocodile tongues. This is just so Tim Burton. He leaves James with a bag of crocodile tongues. James immediately bumbles and drops it. The ants come and tell him they're going to go beat him, or they were going to beat him. They were coming to beat him, but now they're too lazy to beat him. What I said before. They all see a peach growing on a tree. It keeps growing and growing. Then the tree breaks and it keeps growing. You know, I was really excited to watch this. I thought this was going to be like claymation or animation. The VHS cover is claymation. I don't know what to think right now. The ants make the giant peach into an attraction and charge people money to come see it. It's night. The ants are counting their money and they send James out to clean up all the trash left by the people. He's warned, though, not to touch the peach. So he touches the peach. Then he takes a bite of the peach. Then the whole glows green, and I don't know why, but I don't like this. He climbs into the peach and finally becomes a cartoon. Here we go. He's in the center of the peach, and there's a bunch of bugs who befriend him. I thought this would be better once it was animated. I don't know. I don't remember what fun is anymore because I can't get past thinking about child abuse and how they beat him. His aunts are looking for James. The worm is scared of his aunts. He claims his aunts used a shovel and broke his brother in half, and now he has 2 half-brothers. I'm not laughing because I didn't get the joke. The peach rolls down the hill and now it's floating in the ocean. I guess we're stuck with these characters, so let's look at them. Okay, there's a French spider with a mime face wearing a beret, a centipede dressed like a vagrant, a professor grasshopper, an old lady bug, and the worm. James gets a seagull to pull the orange through the water, but then a robotic shark appears and spits out plates of fish heads. This is what I meant about Tim Burton. This is just nonsense. I can't tell if this is brilliant or if, like, the South Park thing is happening where manatees are collecting random words and floating balls and placing them together. The robot shark tries to shoot out flying scissor sharks to break the strings, attaching the peach to the seagulls, but the ladybug swats them away with her purse and she calls them degenerates. Are you a degenerate? Well, I know I am. Well, then I guess I must be one as well. That was fun. They get away and the peach is now floating in the sky, being carried by the seagulls. As they float, they're all hungry. James mentions, hey, if you're hungry, we're in a giant peach, so they eat some of the peach, but not before a 10-minute song. James and the spider are having a moment, but I can't hear it because the volume suddenly dropped by like 30 decibels on the bad VHS tape. I love VHS. She's the spider that he saved in his room. He has a nightmare about his ants. He's a caterpillar and they're trying to spray him with bug spray. He wakes up. They're lost in some freezing wasteland with snow and water now. The centipede driving fell asleep at the wheel. The caterpillar asks what his longitude is and he says, hey, that's personal. Was that a joke? The centipede jumps into the water. They say he committed pesticide. The spider and James jump in after him. My 4-year-old looks at me and says, spiders can't swim. She's not wrong. The centipede finds a sunken pirate ship and the captain looks like a dead Jack Skellington. That was fun. There's a big fight between the ghost pirate and James, spider, and the centipede. Centipede gets a compass and they escape. Yeah, that was fun. This movie's picking up. Professor Grasshopper actually might be a cricket. I'm not sure. There's another song, one about love. James says, we'll always be together, won't we? Just as they make it to New York City. The storm rolls in, and it looks like a rhino. Don't like that. I wonder if this whole movie is actually going to be a fantasy world the kid spiraled into mentally, trying to deal with the death of his parents while mentally escaping this horrific and abusive situation with his aunts. Is that going to be the giant peach twist? That'd be fun. End with the kid's hotline, the help hotline number on the screen. They plummet to the earth and James wakes up and he's an actual boy again. Like James, the real kid actor, is now standing atop the giant peach in New York City. He can't see the Empire State Building. But as the camera pulls out, it turns out the peach is stuck atop the Empire State Building. This is fun. I guess he was separated from his bug friends when the peach fell. All the folks in old-timey New York are below ogling the giant peach on top of the building. They bring him down. But then a beat-up old car pulls up. The door opens up. Water pours out. It's his mean aunts. They want to take James and the peach home. The officer is actually the human version of the cop that swallows his whistle in the old Frosty the Snowman cartoon. James tried to explain that he flew there with his insect friends pulled by seagulls. Everyone laughs at him. He says, well, maybe I dreamt it, but look around. Look at New York City. Someone had to have dreamt this at one point. Then he says he's not coming home. He hates it there, and he hates how his aunts beat him. Yikes. Before we can process that, the animated insects return and interact with the real people on the screen. My VHS tape starts to flicker again, but the spider raises the ants into the air by her web as the cricket grasshopper thing kicks them. Solid. James introduces his bug friends to all of the New York stereotypes. Cool last shot of them atop the peach in the middle of New York City. Now we go forward in time and James has a bunch of regular friends and still lives inside the peach. And we go back to the guy who gave James the bag of crocodile tongues and says, that was James's story. And he wanted me to tell it to you. Cue Randy Newman, because this one's over. Wow, James and the Giant Peach. What did I just watch? Solid effort. The animated parts delivered. They were just offbeat enough to keep it fun and moving, but thumbs down to the live action parts, especially the beginning. Thinking about a little boy with a happy life, living through the death of his parents and then being forced to live with his aunts who actually routinely beat him is a lot to brush off in order to enjoy the rest of this movie. But the issues that have prevented me from really loving this might have been mine and mine alone. Between the rescuers, Annie, and when our fifth grade teacher read us They Cage the Animals at Night, I've had an overwhelming feeling of dread when it comes to orphanages my entire life. I recognize my privileged childhood, and I think that's why the thought of my parents dying and me heading off to one of those places, constantly depicted as the worst place in the world for children, still hovers above my head to this day. And yes, I recognize the irony that I have deep issues with dead parents, and I'm reviewing Disney movies.
That's what I think about.
What do you think?
What we have is a concern about Curtis Anderson. His interviewing style is not
personal appearance is not the best. I was wondering if the man has some kind of a hold over the channel that he's allowed to be employed for so long with the standards of journalism